One of the most admired heroes in Philippine history is Jose Rizal, from 1861 to 1896. His political writings, which spurred the Philippine Revolt and ultimately led to his execution by the Spanish invaders, made him a versatile intellectual and political activist who is most known for his political writings. And in addition to being a doctor, Rizal had his training in ophthalmology from two eminent European eye specialists, Louis de Wecker and Otto Becker. We have known Dr. Jose Rizal as a hero offered his life for our independence, and now let us learn deeper on what are his contributions in our society. So Rizal has been a dedicated son of the Philippines since he was a little boy. His desires for a really free Filipino homeland gradually gained strength as he got older and was able to comprehend both the beauty of the country and the sadness of its political subjugation. So on the other hand, he cherished the monarchy, the great Catholic faith, and the Spain of Cervantes that had repelled the Muslim invasion. So on the other hand, he felt imprisoned by the unstoppable forces of fate that appeared to be in charge of his people's fate. And when Rizal returned to the Philippines in 1892, he established the Liga Filipina, a nonviolent reform group in Manila before being exiled to the Pitan in northwest Mindanao. So the following 4 years saw him continue to in exile. A secret club of Filipino nationalists called the Katipunan revolted against Spain in 1896. Rizal was detained and put on trial for sedition by the military despite the fact that he had no ties to the group and had not participated in the uprising. He was publicly executed by a firing squad in Manila after being found guilty. His martyrdom persuaded the Filipinos that breaking away from Spain was their only option. And while imprisoned in Fort Santiago on the eve of his execution, Rizal composed Ultimo Adios, a classic of 19th century Hispanic lyric, which known as the Last Farewell. So as we've seen, Rizal opposed armed uprising, but these passages from his novel showed that he was sympathetic to those who might incline in that direction. Still, he preferred to use a pen, a book, and his head rather than a rifle. So the building scholar constantly wrote about the importance of education and frequently illustrated what he saw as the terrible effects of ignorance. So for Rizal, fostering a sense of common ownership of the Filipino people's historic past and a strong commitment to the national stewardship were essential components of national pride. So foremost in Rizal's minds was the need for the government to be respectful of its citizens and to be truly concerned with the Commonwealth. In the first of his articles to be published in La Solidaridad, Filipino Farmers, which appeared on March 15, 1889, the young intellectual described what he believed to be a government that was unworthy of the trust of its people and clearly outlined the consequences of such a form of rule. So this highly significant passage revealed the fact that even after countless suffering at the hands of the Spanish authorities, Rizal did not openly advocate an overthrow of the colonial system. So on the contrary, he had a deep and abiding love for Spain, its language, its Catholic faith, and its culture. So nonetheless, a thoroughgoing program of reform was necessary if, as Rizal observed, Filipinos were remain loyal to the Spanish crown. So while being detained at the Pitan, Rizal lived with the Spanish regional administrator Don Ricardo Carnicero, who quickly became a friend who trusted the young intellectual intrinsically. And in one of the conversations, Rizal outlined a 7-point program of reform. if the Philippine colony were to flourish. The first one is to give Filipinos representation in the Spanish Cortes or Parliament. The second one is to secularize the friars, doing away with the tutorship which the latter exercised over the government and the country, and distributing the curacies as they became vacant among other clergymen, who could be either Filipinos or Spaniards. The third one is to improve and reform the governing administration in all its branches. The fourth one is to foster primary instruction, taking away all intervention of the friars and giving the teachers more pay. The fifth one is to divide equally the appointments in the country between Filipinos and Spaniards. Sixth one is to create schools of arts and trades in the capitals of the provinces of more than 16,000 inhabitants. And the last one is to permit freedom of religion and of the press from Palma, page 226 to 227. So it must be observed once again that Rizal did not advocate immediate separation from Spain but insisted that the mother country should truly care for its colony and foster its development. So this could only happen through the observance of a strong code of human rights and the necessary dissolution of the clerical class, which acted as if were above the law. So in other of his renowned letters, Rizal said, "If one must die, at least let him die in his country, for the good of his country and on behalf of his country." So therefore, it should come as no surprise that Rizal is still referred to as the father of the Philippine homeland and Saint Jose Rizal by followers of the Filipino Independent Church.